TGL is back, and we got exclusive access to the SoFi Center, the home of TGL, to find out what changes have been made for the 2026 season, to not only enhance the viewer experience, but to also create a more dynamic playing surface. So with that in mind, let's dive into the biggest changes coming to TGL in 2026. The biggest change coming to TGL is the green.
So this is our new green zone. All this is the same, but on top of the turntable is all taken off from season one, literally down to zero. And then we rebuilt it with this new green. Same concept, 3 tiers to it really. We just made it much bigger. So 5,200 square feet this year versus 3,800 square feet in season one.
This not only allows for more pin positions, but it also allows players to have a lot more options when it comes to hitting shots around the greens. And speaking of players, while we were there, New York Golf Club's Matt Fitzpatrick just happened to stop by.
It looks fantastic. I always forget how big it is. It's such a great little stadium. The green's bigger, the screen feels like it gets bigger every time you come in, and having more pin positions always makes it more interesting. You know, obviously around the green now, there's probably a few more options and variability in shots that you can play, and you know, that's always going to add to the excitement of the event.
I think you're gonna see a lot more hole outs. 12 hole locations this year. As you can see all the pins here. Last year there was 7, so big upgrade there just for course setup and being able to use different pins.
Now, one more interesting thing about the newer, larger green is that everything is not actually getting bigger. In fact, a lot of the contours internally on the green have been softened.
We expanded the surface area under the surface with 2 virtual greens, 608 jacks, and these actuators send different landscapes, and so we can create much broader slopes, which I think the players are going to respond a lot better to this season.
This is going to allow for longer putts that don't have to go around such larger contours within the greens, and should hopefully allow for some longer putts being holed in play and some extra shots that players are going to be able to hit. Now, one more factor that I think is going to play a major part in TGL in 2026 is the way that they've actually reconfigured the turf around the green.
Last year, it was down grain on one side, but it was in the grain on the other side,
which caused players to have to hit a lot of shots into the grain. Well, now the turf has been reconfigured so the grain actually faces towards the green.
All of our turf that's on the turntable here, it's all laid down grain.
This is not only going to make shots play a lot more naturally, but it's also going to allow for a lot more variety of shots around the green. Rather than almost automatically gravitating towards having to hit a high flop shot, we're going to see a lot more pitch shots, a lot more chip shots, a lot more bump and runs that actually use the fringe and surrounding area rather than forcing players to fly it towards the green, which should create a lot more excitement and a lot more fun this season.